June 27th. A small American village, blue sky, bright sun, flowers in bloom. It looks like the beginning of a romance. It's the beginning of an execution. That's how the lottery opens. No thunder, no shadows, no villain waiting in the dark. Just ordinary people. In daylight. And that's the first warning, because Shirley Jackson isn't showing us evil as eruption. She's showing us something much more unsettling. Violence as normality. The children, learning before understanding. The villagers gather in the square, about 300 people. Small enough, Jackson notes, to finish before lunch. An execution, scheduled conveniently before noon. The children arrive first. Of course, Jackson writes, of course. The boys collect stones, smooth ones, round ones. They stack them carefully in a pile. No one tells them to. They already know. That detail matters. Before anyone explains the ritual, the gesture is already learned. Tradition trains the body before it trains the mind. The children don't understand why. They understand how, and in this story, how is enough. The adults, order without question. The men gather next. They talk about crops, rain, tractors, taxes, practical things. They stand away from the stones, but not too far. The women arrive last, gossiping, calling children into place. Everything is polite, organised, predictable. No one asks why they are here, not because they are cruel, but because the ritual feels established. And what feels established rarely feels dangerous. Jackson is careful about this. She does not show hysteria. She shows order, not chaos. Structure. The violence to come will not break the system. It will fulfill it. The black box. A tradition without memory. The lottery is run by Mr. Summers. Beside him stands Mr. Graves. Life and burial. Between them sits the black box. It is splintered, faded, worn down by decades of handling. Sometimes it's stored in a barn, sometimes under a desk, sometimes on a shelf in the post office. It is not sacred. It is simply unquestioned. Jackson tells us that many parts of the original ritual have already disappeared. The chants are gone. The formalities are gone. The ceremony has been simplified. Those parts were forgotten. The killing was not. The town modernized the process. They never reconsidered the purpose. And here Jackson slips in one of her quietest insights. Systems often survive not because people defend them passionately, but because no one examines them anymore. The drawing, names and justification. The names are called alphabetically. Adams, Bentham, Delacroix. The sequence is suggestive. Adams evokes beginnings, something foundational. Bentham recalls the language of utility, the greatest good for the greatest number. Delacroix literally means of the cross, a name historically associated with sacrifice. Origins, utility, sacrifice. The logic of the lottery seems almost embedded in the roll call. Something old. It is justified. And someone must bear the cost. When Old Man Warner hears that another town might abandon the lottery, he reacts immediately. There's always been a lottery. For him, longevity is proof. If it has lasted, it must be right. No further reasoning required. The reveal, procedure without morality. Bill Hutchinson draws the marked slip. The crowd tightens. Tessie Hutchinson protests. It wasn't fair. Notice what she does not say. She does not say the lottery is wrong. She says it was unfair. Her objection is procedural, not moral. She challenges the way the system was carried out, not the system itself. That distinction is devastating. The ritual narrows to her family. Even the children must draw. One by one, relief spreads through the crowd, until Tessie remains. Her slip bears a black pencil mark. Nothing mystical, nothing divine, just graphite. But in this moment, that is enough. Because once the mark appears, Tessie is no longer a neighbour. She becomes the chosen one. the stones. Why this form of violence? And then Jackson makes a deliberate choice. She does not hang Tessie. She does not shoot her. She has the villagers stone her. Stoning is not private violence. It is communal. It requires many hands. Each stone is small. Each throw feels partial. No single person delivers the fatal blow. Responsibility dissolves into the group. Mrs. Delacroix, who was laughing with Tessie minutes earlier, selects a stone so large she needs both hands. Old Man Warner urges the crowd forward. Even Tessie's young son is handed a few pebbles. That detail is almost unbearable, because stoning is not only communal, it is learned. The story ends not with a speech, not with a moral, but with impact. A stone hits Tessie, and then they are all throwing. Jackson offers no commentary, only completion. The circle of stones. The image of a crowd holding stones carries a deep cultural memory. In one well-known biblical scene, a group prepares to stone a woman they believe deserves punishment. Just before the first stone is thrown, someone speaks. "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone." That sentence changes the structure of the moment. Before you throw, examine yourself. And something remarkable happens. The stones fall, one by one. The crowd disperses. The act collapses under the weight of reflection. Now return to Jackson's village. The same circle, the same stones, the same certainty. But one crucial element is missing. No one interrupts. No one asks the crowd to pause. No one asks them to look inward before they throw. And without that pause, the ritual runs exactly as designed. In one story, a sentence breaks the circle. In the other, silence preserves it. Final thought. The villagers do not stone Tessie because they are uniquely monstrous. They stone her because the system requires someone, because everyone else is throwing, because no one interrupts the motion. Jackson's horror is not explosive. It is procedural. Her story asks a quiet question. What happens when a community enforces judgment but never turns that judgment inward? When accusation is public, but introspection never enters the structure? In the lottery, no one drops the stone. Not because they hate Tessie, but because the circle never breaks. And sometimes, the most dangerous thing in a society is not anger, but the absence of a pause before the first stone leaves the hand.